man. So first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time, and talking to us, and introduce yourself to the people who might not know who you are.
All right. Well, thank you, Rona. I appreciate it. Without folks like you, then people won't know who Kurt Deimer is, and we're all in this together, man.
Awesome. So you just, you have the full length debut album coming out, or did it already come out? I'm trying to remember if it.
Yeah, yeah. And so it begins. Is our debut double album. It just dropped. I think it was the ninth. Like it's already been a week, but it's out on digital everywhere, so you can stream it everywhere, follow it, like it. I'd appreciate it. And then the it's going to come out on a double vinyl gatefold album here later in the month. You can pre-order it at my website though, kurtdimer.com. And then it'll also come out on cassette and CD as well. So we're really stoked about it, and hoping that everyone will help share it around the world, and we'll be off and running, man.
Yeah, for people who might not know, can you explain what the album, maybe the sound and like kind of like the inspiration for the album?
Yeah, it's a work that Chris Lord Alge, my producer mixer, and Phil X from Bon Jovi, their lead guitarist, and I have been working on for the last 4 years. We got many songs. We even have a second album pretty much teed up that we're going to finish the end of June. But it's been a labor of love, and it's rock the way we do it. I got a different kind of voice. I write lyrics from my heart and out of my kindness and out of respect for fellow humanity. And I think you'll really dig it. It'll take you on a ride. It's not cliche. It doesn't pigeonhole you into one thing, and it's just rock and roll, kind of the way it used to be. So I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, yeah. So you're saying, you were recording it for about 4 years. So right out of the pandemic, like how was I always talk to musicians, especially traveling musicians, that 2020, was some musicians always said it was kind of a blessing because it's the first time in years that they had that much time to be able to spend with their family and all that and write. And then some other people, like the DIY bands were kind of like, well, this is killing us money. How was doing that 2020 for you as far as a musician?
Yeah, I had mixed emotions. I mean, it gave me the opportunity to bring my demo out to California. I just found a little studio to live in as I was taking, this adventure. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hits. But, then I reached out with my demo to different producers and mixers. And Chris Lord Alge gave me a chance and kind of dug the demo and took me under his wing. And next thing you know, we're recording a cover of Have a Cigar with Phil X, and that's all during the pandemic. So it really gave me an opportunity to figure out if I wanted to do this again or not do it, and how much I enjoyed it and working with people in the music business because I was new to it. And it's really, other than that, towards the end of the pandemic, it was very frustrating because it was hard to get out on tour, and I just started playing all this music. So it was a catch 22, but I think in the end, it was a blessing. So.
Yeah, yeah. And then, like I said, especially when it comes to making the new music and stuff like that. And I know, like, the new album, you pretty much, a lot of the songs you kind of gravitate towards. But if there was like one song on the album that you kind of want the fans to hear that kind of best explains, the type of music you want to do, what song would it be on the new album?
Um, well, all my songs tend to have a message that comes out of my brain. It's very good therapy for me. I write the lyrics and I give them the vibe that I want, and then we craft these songs. But probably the one that very proud of, and it's like it's on the mid-market charts. It's climbing up. It's probably going to go top 20. Is Live or Die, and I wrote Live or Die, and it kind of sums in a nutshell. And a lot of the other songs they all have meanings too. But Live or Die is about all of us need to quit being afraid of the world and try to overcome our anxieties, which I've suffered from early in my life, and all the obstacles, and do what you want to do with your one life and follow your dreams. You want to jump out of a plane with a parachute, go do it. You want to climb a mountain, go do it without a rope. Whatever you want to do that makes you happy, it's your one life, and the worst thing that could happen is live or die. You'll live or you will die. So go for it. So that's the kind of message you'll get in a lot of our songs. Like "Naive" is another banger, and it's about all the people trying to screw me over when I first got back into the music business, and how people don't have watch out around you in everyday life because there's a lot of people that want to take advantage of you, and don't be naive. So my songs have messages like that, and they're very to matter of fact, I would say, and you can hear the lyrics clearly, and obviously everybody can take their own meaning from it. So,
Yeah, sure. And then like, with the, looking through, through the song titles and listening to it a little bit, you guys did the cover of Riders on the Storm. Talk about doing that song.
oh yeah, yeah, because we had already done "Have a Cigar," and Chris said, "I want you to take Riders on the Storm. We're going to have it go, have a cigar go right into it on the album." And it'll be coming out of a thunderstorm at the end of "Have a Cigar." He goes, "But I want you to write modern, thoughts from the pandemic and what's going on in the world, and let's craft it with your voice." Because at the beginning, I did a lot of talking, and now I do more singing. And we crafted it that way. I wrote those lyrics at my studio, probably in about 20 minutes, and we turned it into what you hear on the record. So I think it's pretty mystical and badass, and a good late night listen, especially if you're smoking a little marijuana or something, and you
Yeah.
just want to chill.
Yeah.
Go to
Yeah,
bed to that
exactly.
shit. Yeah.
And then, like kind of going back, back into the past a little bit and stuff like that. Some of the people that you've worked with, I'm going to ask you about how working with them, obviously working with Tesla and going on tour with Tesla. How was that?
Oh, they're amazing. I wouldn't be where we are today without them. We went out to do 6 shows with them, and Brian Reed loved our band, and he kind of took me under his wing as a consultant and as a manager type, and we've been touring a lot with them over the last couple of years and really built our fan base. So it's been amazing. They're all great guys. We're like family together, and when we get together, like we're about to play with them again in June, we're
Nice.
all excited to hook back up. It's like family. So
Yeah.
Tesla's been very instrumental to us.
And then another one would be, talk about, working with Sebastian Bach.
Sebastian, he's great friend, and we had a great time in Canada last year on our first tour together. He's just a good soul, deep down, and I love him to death. And I appreciate him taking us out. We had some great dinners together, our camps. I take everybody out for steak dinner and get some red wine with Sebastian. And yeah, he's a cool dude, and we had a great run, and we're a good fit together as well. So he's been instrumental in our success.
Yeah, yeah, and then like another one that's I'm a huge fan of just because that he's got such a iconic voice, but touring and playing with Jeff Tate too.
Yeah, Jeff Tate kind of helped launch us. Yeah, his graciousness to come down and shoot a music video with me and be featured on my song "Burn Together," which is on the album, and then to have us as direct support on the tour for in fall of 2021. That was our first tour, and thank God that he gave us that chance. He's a mentor to me. We just shot another video and recorded another collab together, which I can't talk about yet, but it's going to be badass, and it'll come out here in the near future. But yeah, Jeff is great. His wife Susan's great. They've been very kind to me.
Yeah, yeah, and then like especially like I said, especially with you, playing with those kind of guys. I'm not sure if you're familiar. I live in Baltimore, and every year they have the M3 festival, which is like kind of like a homage to like the 80s hair metal and 80s rock, but they have a lot of like newer cats that still have that old school sound. I didn't know if you were familiar with that or maybe trying to get your band into playing something like a festival like that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all the festivals. It's just I guess we're not to the point yet where the festival organizers have discovered us, or my booking agent can't connect the dots with them. But we would blow people away at festivals. I'm very confident in that. It's just, I guess we haven't earned the right to be invited to them yet, is all I can think. But that kind of blows my mind. But we're working hard. Hopefully
Yeah.
2026 will break through that. So.
Oh, nice. And then, it's kind of, it's like I said before, it's kind of ironic because, other than the Empire Extreme, me and my one co-host, we do a horror podcast, and you're a horror
Yeah,
guy. Talk
yeah,
about, first of all, talk about, having the honor to be killed by Michael Myers. Michael Myers has
yeah,
always been my number one franchise. I'm a huge Halloween fan, even Halloween 3, even the Rob Zombies, even the remakes. I'm a huge
yeah.
fan of all of them. Talk about having the honor to be able to be killed by the Michael.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, probably back into music now and everything because of Halloween. But it started with Trading Paint. I got cast at the last minute when I went down for a cameo. 2 months later, I get put into Halloween, and they say you're going to get killed by Michael Myers, and I knew it was the John Carpenter like original sequel and the first of those three. So I think I had one of the most iconic death scenes. It was like
Yeah,
photographed, put in prosthetic magazines, all that stuff. So was quite an honor to be on that short list from the John Carpenter franchise. So,
yeah,
and with that, because I was in Halloween and, I hung out with Michael Myers in the gas station. I was killed all day with a blanket over my head, shit, because of my prosthetic. But it was just a great day. And I hooked up with my buddy Kevin Wayne down in Alabama, who I had just met. We were shooting a couple little things after I had gotten into trading paint and was getting the acting, like saying this is probably something I should do. I like it. I love doing this shit. And we decided let's do our own horror franchise. So we have Hellbilly Hollow coming out here hopefully by February, and that's the first of many. And it's our own franchise, and it's a horror duo. And I'm Bull, and he's my brother Tickles, and we create a lot of havoc. And I'm a complete psycho in that movie. I kind of modeled my role after the way Bill Moseley did Otis in
oh, nice.
Devil's Rejects. So I took a lot because I really love Bill's acting in that movie. And then, lucky enough, I got to now. Bill and I are friends, and we met on the set of Scared to Death, and I played the horror icon, the Grog. I star in that with him and Lynn Shay from Insidious. So
Nice.
that's going to really help bring people attention to what my projects are and what I'm doing. And the Grog is a character unlike any other in horror, and he's just a good dude, but he's a horror icon. And then this February, you probably aren't aware, I just shot a movie where I get to play the next killer like Jason and Michael Myers and Art from Terrifier. I am the rancher, and it's Pandemic Sex Party, and I kill a bunch of degenerates, and it's brutal. So
Nice.
wait till you see that, and that'll be a franchise. So I've got all those coming out on the horror side, and I'm getting ready at the end of this month to shoot my next film, Relapse, which is going to bring attention to fentanyl addiction and stuff. And I play the dad, the rock star dad of the girl who's an up and coming musician who's addicted to drugs. And it's going to be really cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So do you like, 'cause like a lot of musicians that get into that acting and stuff like that, and obviously doing that, have you always kind of had that, because you had that acting bug, or was it just something that you just kind of did and was like, hey, I kind of like this, and,
It,
kind of
it,
stuck to it?
I did it till I said I'll put my Starfire products in trading paint, but I want a cameo just to see what they'd say. I never even thought about it. I never thought I wasn't a thespian in high school, or my sister was, and she did all the plays and all that stuff. I was always too afraid because I had panic and anxiety back then. But now it's just I can't wait to get in front of the camera, and it's just kind of naturally evolved from that moment that night at Trading Paint. Here we are.
Yeah. And then, like you were saying about the prosthetics and stuff like that, do you think do you enjoy the prosthetic? Because some people, are just not a very prosthetic person because of the hours and stuff. Or do you like being that fully hardcore maked up on?
Oh yeah, I love the whole process of movie making. I mean, you should see all the blood and shit I had on me in the kill scenes of Pandemic Sex Party. I mean, it's just brutal, but it's cool. And I love the filmmaking process and how we can entertain people that love the horror genre, especially. And no, I didn't mind it at all. I mean, they probably gave me that role in Halloween because they knew that he won't know any better. We're just going to have to sit here and get this for 3 hours. I didn't care. And then when Gordon Green, we were done shooting, I got to get up off the counter after about 4 hours of laying there like that. They were going to just put a dummy in the gurney. I said, you spent all this time putting this face on me, zip me up in the bag, put me on the gurney. Let's close out the deal." And they were all excited. So I think it made the whole scene even better.
Oh yeah, that's I mean that's like I said, especially when like I said, me being a huge Halloween fan, I'm like I won't really care how much stuff you have to do to me, how horrible my experience is
Yeah.
gonna be. I get to be killed by Michael Myers on screen.
Yeah.
I'm game.
Yeah, and they're always worried, but the teeth came out of my mouth, and I didn't want that to get moved or the blood. And they're like, "You need a break." My legs were going numb, but I just said, "Just keep moving my legs a little bit. I'm just going to keep laying like this. Get all the photos you need." I do whatever it takes to make the movie great, and I think all the directors appreciate that, and that's why I'm getting offered so many roles now and stuff.
Oh yeah. So I mean, so like speaking of the horror films and stuff like that, were you like into horror film, growing up? Were there favorite did you have favorite horror films and stuff like that
Um,
watching or
no, I liked horror movies. That some of them scared the shit out of me, like The Exorcist and The Omen, because I thought that was just too real. But Amityville Horror, and that was real. I love that. I love The Shining. I love Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, and all that kind of stuff. Devil's Rejects. I love that movie. That's my favorite.
yeah.
So yeah, I've always been into horror, but am I a guy who only watches horror? No, I watch all kinds of movies. And will I only do horror? No, I'll be in all kinds of movies. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. And then like you were saying, with the new movies and stuff like that, with that, do you prefer that super over the top gorgeous fest when it comes to when it comes to the horror side of it, like you were talking about with the Art the Clown and the Terrifier movies where they just kind of go balls to the wall, and just do what they can do.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I can mix those in with other ones, but I like all types of horror. Like our movie Scared to Death is kind of an ensemble cast horror comedy. So you'll get a lot of laughs in that. Even Bull and Tickles, the kills we do in Hellbilly Hollow are crazy and very thought up at our attraction that we have, Hellbilly Hollow, and that's nuts. And it's introducing you to us. And then the next one, we take you back to our roots and where all my craziness came from. So I like telling the stories. I love the gore too, and I like both. I like it anyway, as long as it's entertaining and I want to eat my popcorn and drink my Coke and stay there the whole movie. Then they've done a good job.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I am too. Especially because, like, like I'm a foremost probably a horror nut, for the most part. But I mean, I love actions and comedies and all that. So I like it when horror films kind of blend in those ones where it's not fully on just horror. You got a little bit of that comedy, maybe some action or something like that. So I always like
Yeah,
those kind of films, especially like when it's the more of the independent films and stuff like that. You can kind of get away with a little bit more tongue in cheek stuff that the
yeah,
Hollywood's
it's not
kind
as
of.
cookie cutter. Yeah, and I'm real big into ad libbing on set, and directors let me do it because they know I can do it, and I enhance the script. So I'm really, have come into my own with the acting, and I just love it. And who knows what other projects? So I'm looking at projects now all the time. So stay tuned, man. There'll be more. There's more
Awesome.
stuff coming. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like going back into the music and stuff like that, I always ask everybody, do you have a particular tour or favorite tour that you've ever done that you kind of have like, the best memories with?
Um, I would say up till this date, the best memories with the biggest crowds and just really hit the three bands I've really enjoyed touring with, and we've done really well getting new fans would be Tesla, Buck Cherry, and Sebastian Bach, and we went out with Skid Row with Buck Cherry. That was fun too. So those were probably the best so far as building our fan base.
Yeah, yeah, especially with bands like Buck Cherry and stuff like that, because it's they're that kind of mix between the old school rock kind of and then kind of newer school rock and kind of popish. I mean, they're not new. I mean, Buck Cherry's been around
Right.
for a while, but they bring in a lot of that mixed group and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to
Yeah.
always have that kind of old school, new school kind of meeting kind of in a mix.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure, man.
Oh yeah. So, do you have any plans for 2025 that you can talk about, and then going into the future of 2026?
Yeah, we're gonna finish some more shows here through the 22nd in Minneapolis with Buck Cherry. um, after we finish with Steel Panther in New York. When is it? Uh, Sunday night. And then I'm going to fly out to LA, shoot the movie Relapse. Then I'm going to fly up to Boston, meet up with the guys, and we're going to be playing with Tesla up through the 22nd. When we go to Decatur, we got a bike fest we're also doing up in New Hampshire, and maybe a couple other headline shows. And we're working on fall tour opportunities right now. So that's the plan, and I might be shooting another movie in August, but I'm not sure yet. So working on that, and that would be a killer project. So in fact, when we hang up, I'm getting on that call, and then I got to
Yeah.
play a show at 7 p.m. So,
Oh, nice. But like
so
I
yeah,
said,
so we'll be busy. We'll be touring. We'll be promoting the album, and just follow me everywhere, and you'll be kept up to date on my adventure of life.
yeah, yeah, and then like you were saying with being with touring with the Still Panther guys, how's it like that? Because like those guys are like we said, like me loving horror and comedy.
Oh,
They mix in that rock and comedy. That like is it too going on tour with those guys? Is it just as crazy as you would think it is? Because those guys are just fun, and they just seem like they
yeah.
would be a cool guys to tour with.
No, they're very cool. They're showmen, man. During the day, they're just like you and I. Everybody's chill. We all get along. We're all touring so well together. They're are so happy they brought us along, and we're happy to be along. And just good dudes. And I appreciate them giving us a chance to win over some of their fans as well. And Buck Cherry and us have toured together, so it's a good bill and just a bunch of cool dudes. And we're just all having a good time, and our crews all get along.
Oh, awesome. So, before I let you go, is there anything else you want to say to the fans? Where they can find your music or find you on any socials?
Yeah, you can on my movies, go to IMDb. Obviously, I'm on there. Google my name, Kurt, Kurt, Deimer, Deimer. A bunch will pop up. Um, for sure, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. What else? YouTube, X, Threads, TikTok, all those places at Kurt Deimer. And my link tree's in my bio on Instagram as well, where you'll find other stuff. And then the main hub, you can order the album, pre-order it now on vinyl, collector's vinyl, whatever you want, cassette. We got merch there. It's KurtDeimer.com, Kurt Deimer. So check it all out, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, hopefully, when you start going back on a tour, you do something close on the East Coast around Baltimore. I'd like to go see you guys play, and we can
We will.
actually do a little face to face, and see each other in real life.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man. I
Yeah.
look forward to it. Look forward to putting you on the list, and we'll just have a good time together and keep spreading the word for us. We
Oh, yeah.
appreciate it more than you know. And
Oh, yeah, for sure.
hopefully, I'll see you at horror conventions here in the near future as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As I said, I was gonna ask you too about that too. With the doing the horror movies, are you frequent with the horror cons as far as going to them, or being an actual guest there?
I would have thought by now I would have with the Halloween kill, but I don't know that I have the right person in place to book me for those or do the publicity for it. But I'm working on it, especially with all these new characters coming out.
Yeah,
And my friend Bill Mosley, he does it all the time.
yeah, I
So
see Bill all the time.
I just don't have the right people yet around me that are getting me involved in all that. But it'll happen
Oh,
one day.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. Because I do a lot. Like I said, I do a lot of the cons, and we do press for a lot of the cons too. So on the East Coast, so that'd be
Yeah,
kind of
I'd
cool.
love to go to them and even play a rock show at the while we're in town. So.
Yeah,
That would be
awesome.
badass. So yeah, we'll be there. I just got to get to that point where people keep noticing what's going on, and then it all just kind of snowballs.
Oh, awesome. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time, and I don't want to take too
Yeah,
much of your
thank
time.
you,
So
brother.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I said, hopefully we'll see each other in the future.
Yes, we will count on it, man. I
All right.
appreciate you more than you know, Ron. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Yep. You have a
Yep.
good one, man.
You take care of yourself. Have a great day. Peace and love to everybody.
Oh yeah.